Welcome back to bonus Godot Dev Checkpoint. Now we finished our desktop pet, and he works great. But I got a comment from Mr. Lumpy Couch Potato 7508 that they finished the pet. Awesome. I'm so glad he got to do that. But the question was how to lower RAM usage because their laptop wanted to light on fire. So there's a few ways to do that. Now, it's kind of a classic problem with game engines. They just run things uncapped. So, with a high performance engine like Godot is, it can do heavy 3D, just like Unity and Unreal can, but you can limit that. Now, when we use it for a tiny 2D desktop pet, it's like using a Ferrari engine to power a lawnmower. It works, but it's wildly inefficient and generates tons of heat. It doesn't need to. So today we're going to flip these 3 specific switches to tell Godot that you need to relax. You're a desktop app now. Let's cool down. Just like we named our variable is chilling. Let's make our desktop pet chill. First thing we're going to do is the FPS cap. Now, and back in our game, in our main GD script, now the biggest reasons for heat is uncapped frame rates. So your GPU might be rendering this tiny little desktop pet 1,000 times a second for no reason. So inside our ready function, what we're going to do is below all our other code, we can just go to the bottom. And then we're going to call this optimization cap frame rate. Now, since our animation is slow, we don't need 60 FPS. So 30 is plenty. So we're going to cap it at 30. So how do we do that? Well, we do engine, take caps lock off, engine, max FPS. Okay, and that's going to set whatever we want it to set to, which we want 30. Now we're setting the, like the Ferrari analogy, we're setting the engine's speed limit to 30 frames per second. Since our robot's walk cycle is only a few frames anyway, you really won't notice a visual difference, at least you shouldn't, but your GPU will stop running a marathon. Now the second step we can do is low processor mode. It's the app switch. So games, they'll run an infinite loop. They're going to constantly redraw the screen even if nothing's changing. Standard desktop apps like, web browser, Discord, sometimes web browsers, but they sleep when nothing is moving to save batteries if you have the settings set up. So what we can do to kind of mimic that, project settings. And we need to toggle this advanced settings on the right hand side here. And what we can do now is type in low in the search bar. You're going to look for application, run. We're going to look for low processor mode and turn that on. Now, as it says, if true, enables low processor usage mode. When enabled, the engine takes longer to redraw, but only redraws the screen when necessary. Lowers power consumption, is tended for editors and mobile applications. For most games, because the screen needs to be redrawn every frame, it is recommended to keep it disabled. But with this little pet, we don't need that. It's low enough. Unless you're just using super 3D pets, then this might be a problem. Basically, this setting just tells Godot, if nothing on the screen has changed since the last frame, don't bother redrawing it. Just sleep until the next input. Now, it's crucial for saving things like laptop battery life. Now, one of the last things to check, when we started, we had if a black box was around your pet, which happens to me, we want to take it off of forward plus. But by default, Godot 4 uses forward plus renderer. So this is based on the Vulkan backend and is designed for the high-end 3D stuff. It eats up chunks of RAM just to start it up. So if you're in forward plus, if you didn't have that black box problem and you didn't change this already, now what we want to do is change this forward plus to compatibility. Now, compatibility mode uses OpenGL instead of Vulkan, so it's much lighter, uses less initial RAM to start, and it's perfect for a simple 2D application, like the pet. So unless you plan on adding next-gen 3D lighting to your robot, then this is the better choice anyway. So when you click compatibility, you're going to want to, it's going to force you to restart. So go ahead and do that. So this video here is before, with the forward plus active. You'll see the black box around my robot. And you'll also notice that the Godot engine, when running, is using 1100 megabytes in memory. It bounces back and forth between 0.6 and 1.7. Yeah, that's pretty much the same. But the memory usage, play that again, with the settings enabled, now it's only using 752 megabytes of memory, which is substantially less and more consistent in the CPU usage. So hopefully that helps. And there we go. 3 simple switches that turn Godot from a hungry game engine into a polite desktop application. Your pet's going to be more lightweight now. Battery friendly, hopefully, and shouldn't melt a hole through your desk. So thanks for the great question in the comments. That's exactly what these checkpoints are for. If you run into any other weird issues running Godot on the desktop, let me know below. And if you found this helpful at all, or fun, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It really helps out the channel. And thank you to all our current and past Patreon and Ko-fi members. Your support really means the world. And if you want early access to tutorials, source code, or suggesting future tutorials, please consider becoming a member yourself. The links are in the description. I'm Spaghetti Syntax, and remember, finished, not perfect, fail fast, and fail often. Always stay curious, and I'll see you at the next checkpoint.